Greetings, ladies and gents. I decided I wanted to try a little game of Supreme Ruler Ultimate. The problem with Supreme Ruler Ultimate is that it does not have GUI scaling. So on my 4K monitor, all the text is very tiny, as you may be able to see here if you're looking at it also in 4K. But I want to just play it a little bit, record it, and put it up on YouTube so I can see what it looks like in 1440 and 1080. I'm assuming it'll look better for people that are watching it in 1080 because everything will be a little larger. But for me, it's just real small. What I'm going to do is I'm going to start with 2018 because the U.S. is not fractured. It's still one nation. And the scenario settings, I'm going to leave everything on default with the exception of loyalty penalties to supply and line of sight. I'm toggling that off, and I'll tell you the reason why. I have my own personal house rules for this right now. One of them is I cannot declare war on anyone. I can support allies that are in conflict, but I personally cannot declare war on anyone. And then, of course, if anyone declares war on me, then I can fight them back. But other than that, all I'm going to do is my number one priority is get rid of the debt. The U.S. has, I do believe, you start the game with the largest debt in the world. The second thing is to improve our situation in the country and improve our military. And the third thing is to support allies. So that's what we're going to do. All right, there's scenario settings, military settings. What I'm going to change here is I do not like the enhanced ranges and enhanced spotting. Just don't care for it. I don't care for the Battle of the Atlantic, the weather system, and I definitely never use a diplomatic merchant marine. I just never have, never will. Well, I can't say never. This right here is strictly for trades. If you take a unit to a port and then order it to go overseas, it's still going to turn into a merchant marine, but this is, see, it says diplomatic merchant marines. This is strictly for trades. So I don't care to use that. When you turn this off, it actually says right there, traded units move from seller to buyer when selected. So if you select that, they will actually move across the map. But if you leave it off, and let's say the USA buys something from England, it just automatically appears in the U.S. capital, the nearest barracks if it's a land unit, or nearest port if it's a sea unit, or airfield if it's an aircraft. And I just don't like the diplomatic merchant marine. There's just so many problems with them in their pathing. All right, military settings. Now for the game settings, I'm going to leave everything here as is. The only thing I'm going to change, I'm going to click use this, and I think we're going to leave everything else on default. And I want to check back here. Did I put colonies? Yeah, colonies keep I want that. Colonies keep military complexes. And I'm going to be conservative. We're starting. Notice the world volatility is high by default. Let's see. Well, as I said earlier, I think you start with the highest debt in the world, and that is true. Second only to Japan is second to us, and then China. But you can see China has a debt of 2, and we have a debt of 7. So it's huge, huge, huge. And I simplified those numbers because I know some people. I didn't mean to hit W. I was trying to move the map up, and I forgot you move it with the mouse instead of the WSAD. Some people, here we say, like some people would say 1,000 million instead of a billion. So that's why I just said it the way I said it just then. Use whatever you feel comfortable with. All right. Now, the first thing I do when I play this country, really any country, is I look I lock everything. I do not want, well, that's not true. I will let the Minister for Resources do everything, but everybody else I lock. This right here, resources, he can do his thing because all he's going to do is sell and buy if needed. That's not a big deal to me right now. And I will lock individual. If there's some reason that I feel I need to lock individual ones, I will do that, and then I'll do it myself. But generally, I just let him do his thing. I lock everybody else out, though. And you always want to be sure the game starts automatically with missile auto build on. Always turn that off. It causes so many issues with people forgetting to turn that off. And I lock all units out. So right now we're going to turn minister control off. I will personally control every unit, and this applies to all. And I will change this to engage. It's not going to matter, but I do like to do that in every game. And you can see currently the U.S. has 1,971 units. As we modernize our forces, we're going to lower that greatly. And the first thing we're going to do is research. Now, I tend to, as I said, I'm not going to be militaristic. I'm not going to go on a conquering spree, I'll put it that way. So what I like to work on, we have a huge debt. So like right off the bat, I like to work on infrastructure and things of that nature. There are a few things that I always put in as the U.S. One is the very first thing I put in is the FB-22 Delta. That right there, that bomber is going to last me, the FB fighter bomber is going to last me for a very long time before I upgrade to anything else. Look at the stats on this thing. It's got a range of 5,200 kilometers. It's 120 stealth. Now, I know this is profile, but BG has got this wrong since it used to say, what it used to say was stealth rating. And the higher the number, the more stealthy it is. Profile is actually opposite of that. The higher your profile, the more visible you are, but it's backwards. And I've mentioned that several times over the years, but they're not going to change it. So even though it says profile, you still want a high number here, even though it's exactly opposite of what the word means. And then, of course, it's got spotting range of 104. But most importantly, look at the 24-kilometer standoff to do that kind of damage. So it's really, really a good unit. This says 15 kilometers because it's not meant for air-to-air. But for air-to-air, as the U.S., I always throw in the FD-22 Raptor. That right there also has an astounding range, 3850. It has 120 stealth rating. It has 145-kilometer range for both close and mid attack, and it has a 64 defense rating for air defense. And that right there is going to carry me for a while also. So we throw both of those in. Now, what I normally do in every game I play is I keep the game paused, and then I go through and I just get rid of all of these. I exclude everything except the actual units that I want to use, because there's no reason I've got a tactical bomber in here from 1965 in the year's 2018. But unfortunately, when you start the game, regardless of what era you started in, every unit that's available is there. So you have to manually get rid of all of them. Now, I'm not going to do that right now because on camera, that usually takes me an hour because I do it for every branch, land, air, sea, everything. So the next thing I do is I know what ship, right off the bat, I know what ships, what naval vessels I need and what I want. So what I'm going to do now is throw in the Michigan. The Michigan will last you for quite a long time. Battleship, very good. And I want to go down to transport. And the Algal is a very, very good transport. It has a speed of 61, and it has 25,928 cargo space. I'm sorry, 25,500 cargo space, 25,928 move range. And that right there will last you for quite some time. It's very good. The reason I like it, there are a couple of units that you can already build that are larger than that. There's one that's 30,000, but it's much slower. So this thing can keep up with the carriers and the modern ships that my Navy is going to consist of. So we want to throw that in there because I already know that I'm going to use it. And for ground units, it doesn't, the game will last you a long time just using what you can already. With the U.S.A, right off the bat, you start with the Bradley, the M2A4 version. And that right there is a very good platform for many years to come. And I usually stick with that. I won't go, the only land units I use is the Bradley and the Green Beret 2. We're going to throw those in there. And the Green Berets are for aerial assaults, things of that nature. Get islands and behind the lines work. Special forces work. The other things that you want to do is you definitely want to upgrade as soon as possible. That I do is the future combat aircraft, because I'm all about airplanes. I want real-time communications to increase my military efficiency. And I kind of play this by ear, by the way. I'm not doing this by rote. A lot of these stuff right here, it decreases the amount of money you have to pay. And early game money is always an issue. So I throw these in. And one of the downsides to SRU is it doesn't tell you how many you have loaded. You actually have to run the game for one day before to tell you have how many you have loaded, unless you count them. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay, that's 11, so we can have a few more. Robotic microsurgery. All right, see, this boosts my healthcare rating plus decrease the cost. That's a plus, a double plus. This one boosts your healthcare rating and decrease. That's a double plus. And automated nursing care is the same. So I throw all those in there. We're going to go to advanced construction because the output of industrial goods increases and your facility build speed. Now looking at technology, I never do upgraded petrol generation, and because I always scrap the petrol plants. That's my next move, is scrapping all the petrol plants right off the bat, right from day one. We don't want to use petrol for power in our country. Petrol is to power our industries and vehicles and military. I'm going to throw this in artificial intelligence because I want my research efficiency to increase. And we're going to put on microfluidic advances. Again, I want my research efficiency to increase. Now, right off the bat, as the U.S., you can build fusion, I believe, in this version. The next biggest thing, let's see how many we got here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Green Berets 2, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Raptor. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. So 2 more. I want to increase my infrastructure. So I do that with enhanced rating. It increases it by 5%. Enhanced navigation. And also, you're going to want to throw in either electromagnetic lift trains or modern high-speed trains. One is 97 and the other is 2014. And you'll see what they lead to. High-speed rail infrastructure, which increases your rating by 5% and decreases the cost by 5%. And then later, upgraded rail system that increases your rating by 5% but increases the cost. Now, looking at the electromagnetic trains, gives you maglev later that increases both of them. And then you get nano upgrade that decreases your cost. So it's kind of 50-50 either way. I'm going to start with modern high-speed trains. Now, this is a great one, actually. I'm going to start with this one. I think I can only put one more, so we're going to leave that for now instead of me counting it. Also, I typically never, ever build more land fabs. You start the game with 34, and that's usually enough for me because I don't use thousands of units. Remember, I'm individually controlling each unit all by myself, and I'm not letting the AI ministers do anything. So what I'll start off building right off the bat is 30 Bradleys, And I'll leave those 4 spaces open because I want to start building some artillery. I prefer the artillery. I don't use any MLRS, any of that stuff. I prefer the fast-firing mortar-type artillery, but not this one because the range is terrible on this one, and later you'll get a much better one. But for now, I want the Excalibur. So we're going to throw 2 Excaliburs in there. Actually, I want to put those on continuous build, so I don't have to keep throwing 2 more in there. They're only going to take 28 days to build. And the last 2, I'm going to throw in air defense, the best air defense I can build right off the bat, which is going to be the THAAD Errant. We'll put those on auto build, continuous build. Then I know that typically I'm not going to build any more Raptors because right now we've got a heck of a lot of aircraft that can handle anything already. The F-15, for example. So what I'm looking for here is transport because I'm not going to build combat aircraft until that FD-22 is ready to build. So for here, I want to start filling out the number one thing that I'm looking for here, which I probably will need to go into. Let's look at my options. We want to show obsolete units, show replaced units, and show excluded units. I haven't excluded any, but we'll look here. I'm looking for the C5 is what I'm looking for, and it wasn't there, so it has been excluded for some reason. Oh, there it is. And we definitely want to, just in case, since that's a 1970, I'm going to set that to favorite so that it doesn't go away when I change my settings here in a moment. And I'm going to build, there's 10 of them. The thing is, you start with 10, but they're not full squadrons. They're partial squadrons. You see here that the C5A Galaxy has a cargo capacity of 1,572. But when you start the game, the C5s that you have, let me see if I can scroll down and find some. This small, this everything being in 4K makes it harder for me to hit those very small pixels. Let me find the C5. Got to be one here somewhere. There we go. Look at the space on it. Notice it's only 1,048. That's because they're not full squadrons. Basically, if you just go with these starting planes, you're losing 500 tons of cargo space. So that's why I start right off the bat with my cargo planes. So we're going to put in 10 of those. I'm also going to put in some other things. I want to go with some multi-rolls here. The Lightning II, the CV model, which is the naval version, is what I'm going to put on all my carriers. So I'm going to fill the rest up here with these things because they're going to last me for a while. Whereas I'll be probably building more C5s later on and some other things. Now, I also already know what I want to start with when it comes to ships. I always want to have, right from the get-go, I always want to be building subs. And I always will swap in the newest subs available as the game plays on. It's going to be many years before I stop building submarines because the submarines are the backbone of the Navy because they're stealthy. They can just set off a port somewhere and take out the enemy, and the enemy cannot see you. They're really great, especially if you've got a lot of coastline. So right now, the best ones I can build is the Virginia. Notice they're 104, which means in game terms, year 104 means 2004. And the Cheyenne is 96, which means 1996. So we're going to start building 2 Virginias. Then I'm going to go down to capital ships. And I don't want any of those right now. I want escorts. The Zumwalt. The beginning of the game, the Zumwalt is the best escort to get. And we're going to put 8 so that we have a total of 10 units in build. Now, missiles, I always build... I don't use any land launch missiles. I personally have never built a silo in the game either. But I like air launch. And starting out, one of the best air launch missiles is the JSAL-2 right here. It does 80 and 230, and it only takes 4 days to build. And I like building these, so we're just going to fill our fabricators up all the way. There we go. Now, I will let the game run for 1 day. Boom. And I want to see if I've got, yep, everything is 19 full. And sometimes not every unit gets placed in to the FAP. See, like here, we're pending, so you need to go back and just add it back in again. We'll add that lightning back in there. And there's 2 Virginias we need to go back and add in. For whatever reason, they just don't get in there sometimes. All right, the missiles got in. So here we got some messages. So basically, this is the very first things I do. And then now, what I would normally do is go through and scrap all of the petrol plants because I don't want any petroleum to be used for. We're gonna scrap the small plants of every. I can't believe I just hit that. We're gonna scrap small plants of every kind, regardless of what they are, and all of the petrol plants, 406 of them, every last one of them. Of course, that means you're gonna have finger pain because you just got to click on this 407 times. But it will save you. You know, you start out the game, you're very short on petroleum. You can see here we only produced 10 million barrels, but we use 16. And that's a huge shortage. But of that amount, you notice here that for electric power, we use 604,000 barrels. That's every day. That's just a ridiculous amount to be using, so I get rid of them. And again, this is all just personal preference. I've always preferred fusion. Fusion requires 0 input and produces the same amount as nuclear early game until you research a few techs, and then it does double. So it's the same as nuclear, but doesn't require an input like nuclear requires uranium. Fusion does not. But later on, the input for fusion jumps up greatly. Some other things I'll do after I do this, and this is something I do every game. Well, I can't say I do it every game, because what I usually do is after I do this, after I do everything I want to do when I'm playing USA, I will save a game and I will name it, for example, USA Start, and all of this stuff will already be done, and that save is always there, and I never have to do it again. For example, I still got to go through all the designs and get them all out of the system. You know, put them all on hide. And that takes, like I said, it usually takes me at least an hour just to start a game for the first time. And then once I've got everything set up, I will save the game and call it, in this instance, for example, USA Save or USA Start. And that's what I never have to go through all this again, because if I ever decide to play the USA again, I just pick up that save and start from there. And then the next thing I do, is after I've done that, as I go through and I delete all the old military units. As you can see, we had 1971 military units, but some of these are so old that they're used. Like I'm never going to use this Growler, for example. I'm never going to use these Thunderbolt 2s. A10s are great, but in this game, they're not. They're in the game. They have a range of 4 kilometers, but in the real world, it's much further. So that in the game, everything under 16 kilometers or less is 1 hex. So anything that's under 16 kilometers, you have to be in an adjacent hex. I don't like that. Remember earlier I showed the FB-22, the fighter bomber. It had 24, which means it can fire from 2 hexes away, which means it's not in range of the ground units. The further you're away from that, the better. And that's why I'm never going to use a Thunderbolt. Thunderbirds are the U.S. Air Force aerial demonstration team. I don't know why I had them on my mind. But I will go back and the way I do this is, for example, I click on Navy and I'll order every naval unit out of port. Now, we've got 272 naval units. Then I just go like this, lasso everybody. And I know what I'm not going to want. I want to wait till everything, once they all stop moving. Okay. I do want all submarines to stay for now until I can get the build going. So everything that's a submarine, I'm going to click that very first one and scroll down, hold shift, and click the rest of the submarine types. Control. I don't have to click all of them, just one of each type. So all the submarine types, I'm going to click one, and then I'm going to select them and tell them to add highlighted types. And that'll get everything, all submarines. Then I'm going to order them go back into the reserve. Notice that is 17 submarines right here. I don't think I grabbed them all. I thought I had the game on pause, actually. All right, Cheyenne, Ohio. Make sure there was nothing between them two. Yeah, I did get most of them. All right, add highlighted types and reserve. There we go. And yes, I am getting email from people. Now, when it comes to, I already know that I do not want any Arleigh Burkes, whether it's the 51 or the 71. I don't want them. I'm not going to use them in my Navy. They're too old. We're replacing them with the Zumwalts. I don't want any of the Bunker Hills. I'll keep the Freedoms and the Independences for now. I'm even going to get rid of the Oliver Perrys. I don't want the Austin, the Whidbey, the Kaiser. Don't want any of these. The Besson, the San Antonio, or the Lewis and Clark. So I've highlighted one unit of each type that I want to get rid of. So add highlighted types and scrap. That's 139 units I'm scrapping. That's money savings right there. Now, what else we got here? Okay, I do not want Harper's Ferry. I do not want it. I do definitely want those Algols and the Sacramento. Sacramento's one that has 33,000, but it's slower. Moves only at 48 kilometers an hour, but it's still a huge amount. I don't want the Port Royals. I don't want the Nimitz, but we're going to keep them from now until we can replace them. We're going to scrap units. That's another 6 units gone. What have we got over here and down here? Okay, we're just going to order. We're going to keep all the Nimitz, the America, and the Zumwalt. So everything, we're going to add highlighted types and reserve. We might have some over here. Definitely the Wasp, right? The Wasp is an excellent, excellent amphibious assault ship. 12,000 tons, 17,500 miles. at 119 spotting range. It's very, very good for quite a long time. So we definitely want those. Add all of them in reserve. The Sacramento and the Algol and the supply, I'm going to move all three of these. Actually, these specifically, I'm going to move them back to the West Coast. And I'm going to order all units of that type. I do not want the catamaran. We're going to scrap those. I do not want the Tarawa, so we'll just scrap all of those. And we'll order these into reserve. And what have we got left over here? Sacramento, Algol, Ford. Okay. Order these into reserve. And I think that's it. I don't think we have any more out here. Until these get in, how many ships do we have? We've got 5. Is this 5 here? This is 3. Where's the other 2? Right there. That's Blue Ridge. I do not want it. So, all right, those both are Blue Ridges. We'll scrap them. All right, and that should mean these are the only 3 that are out and about for naval. Yep, 3 vessels. And once they get here, we're just going to order them straight into reserve. Now, of course, now at this point, I would start going through my messages. I would already be looking at my diplomatic offer. I'm going to take the Bahrain. They're offering us metal ore. I already know that we're short metal ore as the U.S. We've only produced an 18 and we need 66. So that's a huge deficit. So yes, we're going to take this regardless of the cost because we need it and it improves our relation with them. And definitely going to take this from New Zealand. Now, so far we've scrapped quite a few units. And I don't think we should have any more out. Now, what we're going to do is the exact same thing with the Air Force. We got 500 units. We're going to order them all out. Once they're out, just lasso several. I'm going to delete the ones I don't want. I don't want any helicopter. None whatsoever. So just control-click on every different type of helicopter that's in the inventory. Even the Super Cobras. Actually, I don't want any Nighthawks either. I don't want any Vikings. So I'm just going to... Right now, until the FB-22 comes online, the F-16 is going to be your frontline bomber. And you got many of them, so you're good to go. And unfortunately, we're going to stick with the Hornets for now until we can get the CV out of production, the new ones. I don't want any B-52s. I don't want any U-2s. Definitely don't want U-2s. I don't want any Predators. I'm going to hold on to the Ryans for the moment. And maybe the Prowlers. I don't want this helicopter, that one, or that one. And I do not want any Hercules, any Chinooks, Sea Stallions, or Ospreys. Because I'll tell you why. That Osprey is going to go because I'm going to replace it with the Stork. The Stork is an excellent, excellent frame, and that's what I prefer to use. Get rid of all the Hercules. And I'll look at the Stratotankers in a moment. All right, let's add highlighted, which is 187 units, and scrap all of those. Let the game unpause. Let's press tab. I heard some gunfire. Press tab, and it takes us to where the gunfire is. And it's right now Pakistan fighting. Who are they fighting? They're fighting India, but anybody else? Iran. India and Iran. Boy, they're going to have it tough, aren't they? Luckily, all this is desert, so that may help them out, but India is going to be a tough nut for them to crack for sure. In fact, you can see India's right here. They're right at their capital. So they may not last long. Let's get rid of some more aircraft. Now this is good. I already know. Let's see if we can get rid of some stuff that we know we want. I know I want to hold on to the Eagles for now. And the Falcons. Let's put all those in reserve. That's 65 units. Get them off the map. Okay. I want to get rid of, again, like I said, all the helicopters, the Growler, the A-10s. I'll hold on to all right, I want to get rid of the Combat Silent. The AWACS. The Global Hawk I want to hold on to. That's a good unit for right now. The Prowler, the Greyhound. And I'm going to get rid of these C5s because remember they're only 1,000 tons, whereas the actual full squadron is 1,500. But I'm going to hold on to them until we can get the new ones online. I don't want any Pave Hawks or Venoms. Let's get rid of all these. We just got rid of 68. Here's another 59 units we can scrap. Again, we're lowering the amount of money we're having to pay. We got that huge deficit. Now, I'm not sure. In this case, you see the KC-10 came out in 1980. That's what I flew to war with the very first time. And this came out in 82. So what I generally do is I take the oldest one and get rid of it. So we're going to scrap the KC-10s. Let's see what messages we got here. New Zealand wants to give us more metal ore. Absolutely, we'll take that metal ore. And you can see we're running at a deficit. That's probably because my units are out. We definitely want Globe Master, so now I can start putting some more units. We want this. We do not want this Lightning II, but we're going to scrap it along with this Osprey. What else? Remember, we want the VC version of the Lightning. Scrap. Now, we do want the Global Hawk. You'll notice it's 120. Stealth has 5,555 kilometer range, and it can land and take off from carriers, long deck carriers. Its distance it can see, spotting is 235. So right now, it's the highest stealth in the game, 120, just like the FB-22, and it has the greatest range. So we definitely want to hold on to a few of those, and we want to hold on to the Globe Masters. So let's put these 29 units in reserve. What have we got in the middle of the country here? Now here's the thing. I don't want this Predator. Let's get rid of all the Predators. When it comes to these units right here, these are what I have to put on my carrier. So we're going to hold on to them until we replace them, like I said. So we're going to hold on to the Hornets and the Super Hornet. We're going to hold on to the Raptor, the B-2 Spirit, and the KC-135s. Add, and you'll put them in reserve. 75 more aircraft off the map. And we're going to take all these Galaxies for now, and I'm going to move them down here to Fort Rucker. That's my special operations base. That's where all Green Berets will be based out of and where all their flights will originate. Let's take this Super Hornet, reserve them. Somebody just declared war. Take this Hornet, reserve them. And the J-Stars I'm going to keep for now. The Lancers I'm going to keep. Until I can replace them later with the B-21 Raiders. Now we will put all these Galaxies in reserve at Fort Rucker. All right, the AWACS is not applicable now. Now, I'm going to get rid of the Orions. I was debating on whether or not to, but I'm going to. We'll scrap the Orions. Unpause the game so all that can take place. We're going to see the 35B we don't want. We wanted the CV version. So we're going to get rid of both of these. All right, we've got 24 left out. Get rid of these, all of this. Fire Scout. Oh, I thought the game was paused. We're going to hold on to the 141s for now. Get rid of all of these units. Another 14 scrapped. And that's going to leave us with the Poseidon. Now, I'm going to hold on to him. He's got a smaller range, and he only says 150. 192, but he's got a profile, i.e. a stealth rating of 150, which is even better than the ones we were just looking at. So I'm going to hold on to him to now. If push comes to shove, I can use him. So we want to put all those in reserve. That leaves us with 5 units deployed. Combat talent, nope. Nope. I want that. That's the one CV. That's what's going to be on our carriers. Let's put him away, and I can scrap everybody else. All right. And now I'll do the same thing with my ground forces. Again, modernizing the forces, reducing the number of units that we have to pay for while increasing the lethality of them. And I will do the same thing with... We got 1233. Let's order everybody out. And this will take a while because there's a lot more and they have to move away from the barracks. Six more. Come on. Make room. 4. They move slowly away from the barracks. Oh, I see what's happening. They just finished building. I was wondering why that number was going up. Two of these just completed building. What have we got here? They're requesting rubber from us. Rubber, metal ore, rubber, military goods. Okay, I'm just going to say yes to everything. Make sure that while I was paying attention. Yep, okay, so we lost. Right here, we got a research breakthrough. Mobile internet. Excellent. And I like to turn these off because I don't need them telling me what I should research. I know what I want to research. We're going to throw in modern high-speed trains. Maybe electromatic. Now we'll throw these in. Make sure everything is still going here. Yep. All right. Again, I will go through and delete all the units that I do not want to use. That's just the way I play. I don't want any of the Marines. Well, that's not true. For right now, I do want the Marines until I can replace them with the... I want all the leg infantry that are amphibious and parachutable until I can replace them with the Green Beret 2. So we'll add all those again, send them all to Fort Rucker. And then at Fort Rucker, the only thing that I want to keep here, and I don't want to keep it at Fort Rucker, but I want to keep it, is the Bradleys. So we're going to get rid of everything else, including the tanks with the Pattons. We're going to keep the Abrams. I don't want that howitzer. I don't want that. I'll hold on to the Paladin now because we're just building up. We're building the Excaliburs, but right now we're trying to build some up. I don't want to... These are decent, so I'm going to hold on to them. But all these units here, I'm going to scrap, which would be 493. Lebanon is eliminated. All right. I guess they were at war with Syria. What else can we get rid of? All right, now these here, the M777E1 155 millimeter. These are parachutable. They don't weigh very much. They only weigh 117, and they have a good range, 30 kilometers, which is 2 hexes. I like to use them if I ever drop my parachute units. It's going to be the Green Berets, and they do need support from artillery. This is the unit that I use. So I'm going to take all of these and send them down to Fort Rucker. There's 45 of them. I'm going to move all of these units. Now, this Bradley here is a recon unit, and there's usually a lot of those, and I only need about 7. So here's 50 of them. So what I'm going to do is get rid of the first 7, unclick the first 7. And then order all the rest of them to scrap. Then I'm going to take the Bradleys and the Abrams here and just move them because I don't want any of those units here. Oops. Click the right button, Joe. I'm still not entirely comfortable with this new keyboard yet. I'm not used to having buttons to the left of the buttons, if you know what I mean. The left of the tilde, the tab, the caps, the shift, and control is another row of buttons. When all my life it's been the end of the keyboard. So it's taken me a while, even though I've had it for several months now, it's taken me a while to get that. All right, now that I've got them off of Fort Rucker, I'm going to order everybody into... We'll take the Airborne Elite also to Fort Rucker. Any leg infantry is going to Fort Rucker right now until I can get the Green Berets out. But we're going to take the Bradleys, the Abrams, the 109s, and we're going to order them all to reserve. Just don't go to Fort Rucker. We got 5 messages here. Okay, they want rubber. Rubber. They're giving us ore, and they want rubber. Yeah, we'll just do it all. We're still operating at a deficit, but every now and then we see green, and that's good. I guess they're still fighting. Looks like Pakistan's going to die here shortly. They're going to be obliterated by... they're being crushed in between India and Iran. Still getting rid of units here. I don't want any. These combat engineers, I want them. But I send them up here specifically just to this. Let me get rid of what I don't want here. I don't want the alligators. I don't want the javelin. I don't want the stingers. Let's get rid of all of them on the map. 62 units we can get rid of. This here supply truck, I'm going to move him down anywhere but where he's at. We're going to have some up here in Alaska. Another thing I always do, and since I'm recording here, I'm not paying real close attention to myself, but I want to get rid of these two. The supply in this area right here is only 9%, and it's just not worth having the expense. So I just scrap these always. Just not worth having them there for the amount of petroleum that you get. And I want this guy to come down here. They're gonna walk through Canada. You also come all the way down here. What do we got up here that we can get rid of? All right, these supply trucks, for now we want all supply trucks to reserve. Paladins and Excaliburs, reserve. Got to clean the map up. Engineer, all engineers. I'm going to build more engineers, but right now the ones that I have, I want them all to go up here because they're going to be based out of Camp Guernsey, more or less the middle of the states, because anytime I do construction products, construction projects. I'm sorry, I've been awake for about 28 hours, so sorry I keep slurring my words. But anytime I do some construction projects, it's easier just to move them from the middle of the United States wherever they need to go. What have we got here? I don't want any of these units, so we're going to get rid of all of them. That's another 59 units that we can scrap. We'll hold on to the special forces, but we want them to all go to Fort Rucker. Green Berets are going to go to Fort Rucker, and then later the Green Beret 2s. We'll replace all of them. I don't want the Sheridan or that Bradley. Well, we're going to put those 6 in reserve because I did want to keep 7 of them. I'm also going to go around. You can see various locations on the map, like right here where there's a excuse me, there's an industrial complex, but there's no industry there. I'll go through and scrap all of them. There's no use in having any kind of manpower there or having to pay for that. So I'll go through and scrap all of them. I will also go through, in addition to scrapping all the petroleum plants, is I'm going to go through and look at the supply level for everything on the map. And for example, right here, you can see the supply level is an atrocious 35. It gets even worse when you get out here in the middle of nowhere. Right here, this is a uranium mine, but the supply, 18%. That's terrible. I'll scrap all that and concentrate all the uranium. There's a uranium deposits up here. Right here. So I'll concentrate all the uranium right here and put a supply depot right there. And that way, I may have, for example, right now I have 11 uranium mines, but they're only producing 7,000. I can put the same 11 right here. It might be producing 25,000. So I'm not using any more manpower. I'm not using any more money, but I'm getting more product out of it. So again, it's all about every little thing, tweaking every little thing to save money. I don't want any bridging units. We'll scrap all of them. I don't want the Sheridan, the tow. I don't want any type of tow unit right now. It's another 31 units we can scrap. I very seldom use a leg tow unit, an infantry tow unit. I just don't like anti-tank units, the way they operate. I'll use them later on, like the low-sat, but early units, I don't use them. We're going to put these, get rid of all the Hawks, and put the supply trucks, all of them, in reserve, because later we're going to replace them. Because right now you'll start the game with different size supply trucks, and I prefer to have everything standardized. All right, what do we get? Industry design. The Taker. All right. The Al Goal is good. We're going to replace it with electromagnetic lift trains. Let's reserve all the Abrams. There's the low-sat right there. That's a decent unit to use. I will use them if I have to. We're going to reserve all of them. Get rid of this. All right, we've got 108 units left, and many are right here. So I want to make sure that everything here is what I want to be at Fort Rucker. I want all the leg infantry. See if there's anything in Fort Rucker right now. There is, yeah, we don't want those in there. See if I can entice them out and then grab just those two. I've already forgot what the other thing was. The Bradley. Okay, see if I can get these over here. All right, please reserve right there. Thank you. Now, another thing I'm going to do, which I forgot to do, is I want to turn that build off because I don't want any units building at Fort Rucker, whether it be aircraft or, see, we got some planes that just came out. I just don't want anything building at Fort Rucker, so I'll build the aircraft facility and the land fab somewhere else. Let's see what else we can build here. I don't think I'm going to build anything. I'm going to order any more units right now for air. I'm going to, you know, this has always been a problem with Supreme Ruler Ultimate. It says 20 units in inventory, but keep in mind that 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Keep in mind that there are only 10 that I built that are full. The other 10 are half strength, or about 75% strength. And so now I can put all these guys in reserve right here where they are. Get them off the map. And we got some more offers, rubber and metal ore. Enhanced navigation, very good. I want to toss in, I want to go over here, toss in the Stork, the V44 Stork. Very, very good unit for moving your paratroopers around, your Green Berets. Get rid of all of these. Syria. Well, look at that. I guess Israel is doing all right in this game. For a while, they'll run out of money. They always do. I forgot how fast my game runs with the new computer. I'll change that to slow. We're already into March. And I'm still working on my setup. Let's get rid of these. Did these units find? Yeah, I guess they did. We'll reserve you guys. Now, the next thing I do, this will be the last thing that I do, because I've already done the Navy, the Air Force, and the ground units. Now I'll go through and I'll scrap unused military bases, barracks. So every place that there is a barracks, like right here, but there's not a build facility, I'll scrap it. I'll scrap these. I'll scrap these. I only want barracks in locations where there is a land fab building facility. And that also saves manpower and money, because you'll wind up scrapping about 30 of them, I think. And each one is 500 manpower, if I remember correctly. Yeah, 500 staff. Piranha, we don't want. Strikers, we don't want. All right, I'll bump that up to normal. Now, when it comes, when it comes to getting rid of these unused industrial complexes, you don't have to go to every one you see on the map. There's an easier way to do it. In your land tab, right here, you can choose industrial, and everything that's an industrial complex will be listed right here. And all you have to do is look. You notice the number 4 in parentheses, that means it has 4 facilities on there. Just scroll through here at a leisurely pace or as fast as you feel comfortable with. And anytime you run across one that doesn't have a number in parentheses, that's an empty one. And in a minute, they're going to line up properly, and it'll be much easier. See how now they're all the same size? So you just scroll through here and find anything that doesn't have a number in parentheses. Right here. And what we're going to do, so click on it. Left click and scrap facility. And then I'm going to hold shift and bracket. And it'll move you forward. Right bracket moves you forward. Left bracket moves you back. So if there's none, see there's one right there. So you can see at a glance. I'll usually go for about 5. 3, 4, 5. If I don't see one, I'll go back up here and just scroll down to the next one. And you can see, I don't know if this comes through on the video, but you can see that right there is highlighted. That's where I'm at currently. So just keep scrolling down till you find the next slot that's empty, and you want to delete it right here. Delete, and I know the next one, so shift, right bracket, go to the next one, delete it. And you can visually see on the screen that it's empty. And I'll usually go about 5. If I don't find one that's empty, I'll go back to here. And once you got the hang of it, it goes very quick. Because you can see it right there. That one's that one. Because you can see, as I said, you can see on the map that they're empty. So we'll go a few and again move down here. There's one right there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right. Another one. Again. And while I'm here, I can see that one. So we're going to click on it and delete it also, since it's right there in front of you. But you want to make sure you go back to here and choose this to continue on. Otherwise, you'll be out of sequence. You're going to miss some. All right, we went a few and didn't see any, so let's go back scrolling. Much easier once you get rid of the very first few, because the ones earlier that you saw, they are in cities, so the size is going to be different. We'll get rid of these. All right. And in addition to getting rid of the unused barracks, because there's no reason no one here is going to rebel, so there's no reason I need a barracks in Las Vegas, for example. I try to move them all towards the coast, to the borders. But another thing that I do always is I only want large. Here we got mid. We've got 42 mid. Don't want them. For the amount of manpower they use, they don't produce enough. So I'm going to scrap anything that's not a large. We got 33. And I do that for all 3 of these units, for the military goods, the industrial goods, and the consumer goods. I only want the largest. Definitely don't want any micros or mids. We free them up, free the manpower up to work elsewhere if need be, and plus we don't have to pay for those facilities. If we need more, we'll just build them, but we're only going to build the large ones. And one thing that I have started doing recently that I didn't really do on a regular basis previously. When I say previously, I mean years ago. Is that I've started, as bad as it may seem from the standpoint of certain game styles, I like to go here where it shows our colonies. Right now we've got Puerto Rico as a colony, but Puerto Rico never, ever, ever can balance its budget. Doesn't matter what you do, they're not going to do it. So Puerto Rico is just better off belonging to me. So what we're going to do is we're going to annex them. And yeah, you take a hit for that, but I don't care. It's better in the long run. Now, the thing is, they're going to have some facilities you don't want there. They're going to have, for example, petroleum facilities. So you got to go back and take out them. Not the... Hang on. Let's let the map run a little bit. All right. I want the... Boy, did I say I was tired? Where I want to go is electricity. That's what I'm trying to do. Here we go. Scroll all the way to the bottom and get rid of those smalls if they got any, and definitely get rid of the 11 petrol they have. So there's 11 right there on that one little island. And we also want to make sure they don't have any military goods, small military goods. They've got 3 for industrial, and for consumer, they're going to have 4. All right, that's good. Now, this is all part of my setup. I usually do this with the game paused a lot longer, but I'm just trying to get some units off the map, so I'm letting the game run to get them off the map. A lot of things are happening in the background, though. Okay, the UK is selling us agriculture. Agriculture from Congo Democratic Republic, metal ore, agriculture. We're going to take all of that. I'm still not yet used to the smaller text in the GUI. These engineers, we want this ranger to keep coming down here to Fort Rucker, though. We're going to speed the game up again. And then the next thing I'll generally do after I go through and delete all the barracks that I don't want is I will actually go through looking at anything that says small power, small other, small nuclear. I know we always have 7 of those. I'll get rid of them. I don't want the small buildings at all of anything. And I believe the U.S. also starts with hydroponics. I don't want that either. It costs too much. And it uses, I think it uses, it uses electricity. I almost said water, but water's not in the game any longer since 2020. We'll take all of that. Enemy falls. Puerto Rico, yep, of course. Unit construction. We're just going to leave those. We don't want any more planes for now. Just let it do its thing. Now, I could turn off the ones that I'm not using, and that would save money, and we wouldn't show as having 27 fabrication slots, but I'm not interested in that right now. But you can do that. All right, automated nursing care. That decreases our cost by 5. It's always a good thing. Now, microfluidic advances. I always like that. Plus, our research efficiency goes up. That's a long way off, though. We're going to look at warfare now. And I'm going to go straight in with depleted uranium munitions because that increases our attack value across the board for every unit by 2, every ground unit by 2. I say ground unit, but I don't know if that's true. It may be every unit. No, yeah, ground attack. It is ground attack. All right, who just declared war? Israel declared war on Saudi Arabia. Well, that's not good. Oh, wow, look at that. They're not messing around, are they? They'll do that and run all the way down here and then just run out of supply, and then Saudi Arabia will surround them. See, how fast the game runs on this system. This is maximum speed. Remember, this is Supreme Ruler Ultimate. All these units moving, and the game is still running very fast. Look at that clock. And even if they go to war here, if there's a war and a lot of units moving around, my game will still run this fast. Later, like maybe 20 years down the road, you can see a little slowdown depending on what you're doing, but it's still very fast. Let's put these in reserve. What just came? Improved vaccines, very good. Saving us money, saving us money. Let's look at improved radars 3. No, I take that back. I'm going for ballistic artillery range plus 40%. Now I want these guys to go into reserve. I want to make sure there's nothing else in reserve there because that's all I want there. Yeah, we'll take these out. We don't want them there. You come over here. Right there. I see you still walking down from Canada. Agriculture, 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 rubber. And I noticed there that Belgium doesn't really like us right now. It's because, we, unit construction, unused Air Force slots. It's because of Puerto Rico. But that'll change over time. Eventually they'll forget that. Cambodia is eliminated. Imagine that. I know where Cambodia is. I'm just looking around at the map to see if anybody else has incursions. Oh, I still got on uranium. I want to turn that off. Okay. Oh, Thailand. Yeah, they're doing good. Even though it is a dictatorship. Taiwan was ordering from us earlier, but I thought they might be at war with China, but they're not. Looks like Bangladesh is not... Well, we'll see. But I don't think they're long for the world because India is going to swallow them up. Pakistan's still holding on. Modern high-speed trains. Excellent. Let's go to transport. Now this is infrastructure rating plus 5, infrastructure cost minus 5. So that's great. We get more supply everywhere and it costs us less. Notice I haven't messed with the taxes yet. They're still on exactly what we started with. The one thing that I forgot to do that I always do, social assistance. Boom. As low as it'll go. Diplomatic offer, agriculture and rubber. Now you'll notice here the people 27.4, but that'll change also in time. Because we're going to supply everybody with a job. They don't need to be on social assistance. Scrap those two. We've got 7 units left, but it's probably, leg infantry slowly walking their way to Fort Rucker. We've got agriculture and agriculture. The difference being, Malta really likes us. There's the Green Berets. All right. Now, what I can do with that is we're going to take a few of these Bradleys out. We're going to take 7 Bradleys out of the build queue. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then when they're done, we're going to add in 7 of the Green Beret 2s, and we're going to put them on continuous build. And I still have yet to go through and delete all of the, or exclude all of these, and that takes a while to do. I'm just trying not to do it now. Okay, rubber, agriculture. Yep. Another research breakthrough. Waste management. That's excellent. That's very good. We'll toss 2 in there. Upgraded rail systems. Or advanced Stirling engines. Actually, I'm going to go for naval fuel cells because that'll pay dividends a little later. And I'm going to go back up to warfare. Advanced naval production. Throw those 2 in there. Who just declared war? Russia, Finland, and China on Taiwan. Look, I had just said I thought China and Taiwan would probably be at war. China just declared and Russia just declared. Poor Finland. I don't know how long they'll last, but they're neutral. They're not an ally. I said I would support all allies. Taiwan. Speaking, they're neutral. Okay. I think in this start, all our allies are here. All of them are right here in Europe. I don't even think we're not even allied with South Korea or Japan, see? Which I don't particularly like, but that's just the way it is in the game. Of course, I could manually, ask them for an alliance, and they would probably agree. Just want to make sure everything's still building properly. I realize we're down 1 on this. That's fine. How much longer do they have? Looks like they have, if I can scroll all the way to the bottom, 19 days. That's good. All right, breakthrough. I also want to make sure that the game pauses every time a technology. All right, that's electromagnetic lift trains. Every time we successfully research one, I want the game to pause. Agriculture, yep. We're going to give... Here we're going for VLAP artillery. That's another increase. The previous one is 40%. This is 20% in range. We're working towards those fast-firing artillery mortars that I was talking about earlier. I think eventually they have a range of 70 kilometers, and they're fast-firing. And they don't do as much damage as some of the long-range firing slow or medium-speed artillery. But that fast-firing artillery, you can fire and hit a target 3 times for 20 points damage, or you can fire and hit a target once for 55 points damage. I'd rather hit them 3 times for slightly more damage over the long run. Also, there's a thing in the game called suppression. So if you're hitting them every 3 minutes, boom, 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 you're suppressing them. Whereas if you're only firing once every 6 minutes, they're not as suppressed enough, and they can still move. Agriculture. We've got the BB-16 Michigan. That thing is going to last us for a while. Basically the whole game. We're going to pick... I'm going to go with improved radars because we're working towards getting better aircraft. Now, I've still got 7 units out on the map. Bradley, Abrams. Let's put those in reserve. We want to put... What else is on the map? Where is this at? Oh, that's why. Okay, we want you to go here. Where's the other one? We want you to go here also. Now, remember, in the beginning of the game, I've turned off merchant marine, diplomatic merchant marine. And I said the units will still enter merchant marine if that's turned off. Here, I'm going to put that to the test. See, there they go. That diplomatic merchant marine only applies to trades. And by the way, I wouldn't do this if we're at war. When we're at wartime, I manually move a transport over there, load them onto a transport, and then move it. And it's escorted. It comes with escorts. I only use this method during peacetime. Finland eliminated. That didn't take long at all. All right, we've got 2 breakthroughs here. We've got biological response and organic road. Both are good. Both saves us money. Let's see what else we got in medicine. Universal immunizations, that will cost us a little more. Robotic MBC treatments. Really, this is not a requirement because I've been playing versions of this game since 2008, and never once in all that time from 2008 until today have I had the AI nuke me. Never once. Now, it used to be back in SR 2020, they would send ballistic missiles, but they were not nuclear. I've got a video, in fact, somewhere, or a post on the BG forums where I actually caught one in flight and was able to show the details of it. It was a intercontinental ballistic missile, but it was not nuclear. And if I remember correctly, that's only ever happened maybe twice in all those years, but it never been nuked. All right, we're going to look at technology here. And multi-fueled power plants is where we're going. That increases the electricity produced by every type of power plant you have. We got here a Blazer. He's going to go scrap that unit. Urban heat exchangers, good. What else have we got down all the way at the bottom? We want to go to society. Now this pollution level -5. Now, pollution's not really modeled in the game. I remember once, I'm sorry. Man, I forgot his last name. I'm going to have to say George. I can't remember his last name right now. But George, I had posted once about how I make my, what I call industrial parks, where I put in this hex right here. Let me turn on hexes. In this hex right here, for example, I would put down 7 supply depots and then railway out in a star pattern. And then that's where I'd build things, going around and around and around, so that they all had good supply. And I posted a picture once of one of those big industrial parks, and I remember that George just said they wish they had modeled pollution in the game. It's not modeled in the game. Let's see here. Let's go with... No, I'm going to go back to warfare, and we're going to throw in laser-guided missiles. Again, ballistic artillery range, 10%. So we've done a 40% ballistic artillery range, a 20%, and a 10%. That's 70% increase in their range. Just from those 3. War declared. Japan on North Korea. China on India. Interesting. India might have to swivel and move towards, Pakistan might get a breather is what I'm saying. If India has to swivel and start fighting China, that might... Actually, they haven't moved very much. And it looks like Iran has actually backed off a little bit now also. You can see India starting to move into China. They're still fighting over here. There goes Mongolia. I'm guessing the Chinese took them. No. Russia did. No, China did. Okay. Artificial mechanical organs. We got a lot here. And the Delta Raptor. Excellent. We're going to throw in military body armor because I do plan on using the Green Berets. They're soft defense, so let's toughen them up a little bit. And thermobaric weapons. This is typically once you get thermobaric missiles, I'll use them for years and years and years if I use missiles. I certainly will build them. Looks like there's a few more units that are out on the map now. I think Russia declaring war, even though it was over here, has got these guys nervous. Taiwan, how you doing? Well, looks like Taiwan's controlling the seas right now. They're able to move at will, it looks like, along the coast of China. And Japan declared on North Korea. Looks like they're doing okay. North Korea is not going to be a problem for Japan. It's if China helps North Korea. Rubber, agriculture, rubber, agriculture. We're going to accept it all. And we got another unit. Oh, that's the Delta Raptor. Let's throw in another. I believe I'm going to go with. Let's look at transportation. I'm going to throw this in because that gives us another 5% for infrastructure and a decrease in cost of infrastructure. So that's a win all around. Plated. All right, there's our 2%. And that's an increase, and that's an increase in price. We're going to throw in prismatic uranium blocks because that's going to help the... forget it. Advanced mineral. We're short on metal ore, and I know that, and I have intentionally not built. There's our VLAP, another 10% on our range for ballistic artillery. And I'm going to throw in, let's see what technology we got here. I think I'm going to throw in nano assembly. There we go. And let's go back and look on our... We can now put in the Green Berets. And we want them continuous because I'm going to build 49 of them. That's enough for 7 stacks of 7. We'll just do 8. I like having 7 stacks of 7 Green Berets because you can use them all over the world. And I usually use 1 to 3 stacks at a time along with, being ferried around on those C5s. And the storks, depending on the location. Reserve. Oh, another thing I wanted to do for the... I also want to put them on auto-deploy. That way, when they're done, I can see them on the map and I can make them immediately start moving to Fort Rucker. There we go. So auto-build and auto-deploy. Agriculture, rubber, agriculture. China has now declared war on Pakistan. Turkey declared war on Kurdistan. I thought Pakistan would have... The thing is, they can't... India is going to block China from getting to Pakistan because this little corridor right here, there's no supply to speak of. So I think... See, Pakistan's pushing on India now. And just buy and buy. It's got nothing to do with anything, but I watch a few YouTube channels that are based in Pakistan that are things like Tribal People Try. That's one of them, Tribal People Try. It's villagers from out in the boonies, and boonies just means not in a city that try things for the first time. They're very good channels, very good people. All right, this 109, we want you to go into reserve. All right, now what is Egypt doing? Timber? Okay. And also Japan wants timber. Okay, I'll give it to you. I believe we may be short on timber. That's fine. No, we're good. The only thing we're short on then is petroleum or uranium. See, even though I scrapped all those facilities, we're still making more than we need here. So there's just petroleum or uranium is what we're short on, which is fine. I have a philosophy in the game. I think that by and large, and I wish it worked this way in the real world also. It doesn't really work that way. It sort of is similar, but I think that big industrial countries should produce the end products, okay? And they should source the small first-tier ingredients from less industrialized nations. For example, you can see here, let's say we were short of, well, here's a good example, is metal ore. We're short metal ores. So we're sourcing it from countries around the world instead of building more for us. So what happens is the country that's selling the metal ore, and in this case, you see your top exporters, Russia, Ukraine, South Africa, Greece, Iran, Mozambique, Turkey. Let's say I like Cameroon, or I want to increase my standing with Cameroon. I can go to Cameroon. I can see they produce 8,300 a day, but they only need 14. So I can buy, 5,000 tons a day from Cameroon and try to lock it into 30 days. And every trade is supposedly building a little bit of goodwill with them. But I think that's what should happen is you go to basically third world countries, buy their product so that it employs their people, and then it increases their economy also, so it helps everybody worldwide. You get what you need. You can continue your hardcore production with the 3 end results, and they get what they need. They can sell what they have. So anyway, that's just my philosophy on it. One day there's going to be a game that works that way. Geopolitical Simulator says they work that way, but it doesn't. Don't believe what they say. I was a fool and I bought the game. I bought 2 versions of it just because I couldn't believe. They keep saying it does this and it does that. And when you actually buy the game, it doesn't do. It's bug-riddled piece of crap is what it is. And when I say Geopolitical Simulator, I actually mean that's the name of the game. Geopolitical Simulator. And since I got rid of a bunch of facilities, we now have some more open slots here that I can go delete. There's no sense in paying for them when we don't need them. So let's start at the bottom this time and scroll up. So that's where it automatically starts, since that's where I left it at last time. That might be the only one, but we want to be sure. All right, there's one. So that was 2 that we're paying for needlessly. And I still haven't gone and done the barracks. Because originally, I was going to just make this a short video, but then I said, this is not that type of game. So I'm just going to let it run, and then I'll just edit parts out of the video to get it to be the length I want it to be. I don't think it's necessary that anybody that's watching this see every trade deal I get, for example. If anything big happens, I'll mention it. All right. And I think that's everything. Because there's very few of these that are kind of... There's Fort Calhoun right there. I'm going to get rid of that. And Darnold. Dwayne Arnold. I said Darnold. Cooper. Darnold is a plumber here in Alamogordo. And I had to use them last week. Guess I had Darnold on my mind. Okay. $27, all Air Force slots. And we did get the FB-22, so let's go in and build some. We're going to build 14 of those. Actually, I do want... No, yeah, we'll build 14 of them. I was going to put on auto build, but I don't want to do that. And then the rest we're going to fill with the... I thought that... Hang on. Let me check something here. Nope, not quite. We got about 22 days. All right, well, I'm going to go ahead and throw in... I really need to go through and hide all of these. There's just too many. 48. Well, I really only need about 4. Well, I guess we'll throw in more bombers. We'll fill it up with bombers until the new F-22 comes out. There we go. Thailand declares war on India. Interesting. Russia on Myanmar. I don't think... Is that... See, in the old days, that was called Burma. What are they doing here? It looks like India's gotten cut off. They have. Look at this. This little spot here is India, but they're not connected to any supply to their own towns, to their own territory. So this is going to be interesting to see what happens. Because they're at war with Bangladesh. I believe they still are. Yep. But they have no... Yeah, there's 2 barracks here, but no facilities producing. That's going to be interesting to see how that works out. Now, this area, this used to be called Burma. And they just declared war on Thailand. No, Russia declared war on them. China declared war on Pakistan. We knew that already. See, Pakistan's recovered nicely. Remember, their border was right about here last time we checked. India having to fight China has given them some breathing room. Put you guys in reserve. Timber and rubber. We already took care of that. Now let's look at our... you can see last time I was looking at the money, we were down to 157 million, and now you can see we're up to 538. So we are making money again. After doing all those things that I did, we're making money. Now, do the people still hate me? 26.5, not too bad. I'd still win an election. In this game, if you got anything above 25, you're going to automatically win the election. Timber and rubber. See, these people still dislike me for having to take in Puerto Rico. %, treaty integrity. There we go, the F-22D. That'll be the next thing to go in the build queue. We're going to throw in haptic robotics because that's a 5% increase to finished goods. And that means all the finished goods. That means industrial, consumer, and military. Two unused army. Is that true? Nope. They're going to go right now. But Was that some of my Green Berets? Yes. Let's move the Green Berets to Fort Rucker. There's already one there. I forgot I needed to I needed to get rid of that. That means I want to build one land fab here because I'm going to delete the one at Fort Rucker. And I'm going to build one air facility here. Again, because I'm going to delete the one at Fort Rucker. And I want to make sure... Darn it, that's building the Green Berets. Okay. I don't want you to come out. You can stay in there, but I don't want you to auto-build again. And what about the aircraft? The Raptor. Okay, he'll be done. Then I'm going to delete those two facilities from Fort Rucker. Just don't want them there. All right, Turkey. Agriculture, timber, rubber, agriculture, and agriculture. We're going to accept everything. Now, one thing I usually try to do, that just because this is sort of an illustrative game, I haven't really done everything that I normally do. Still haven't deleted the barracks, for example, but I like to find one nation in Africa and cultivate relationships with them. That way, if I ever need to move anywhere in Africa, I'll have landing rights and naval rights. I never get land transit rights because I'm never going to transit through a country to go attack another country. I'll just load everything up on transports and make a fleet and go. But I do like Liberia for doing that because Liberia, a little history lesson, Liberia was founded by released slaves. And we've always, I always try to maintain good relations with them generally when I play. Of course, as you can see, I haven't done it now. They're already hostile to me. But let's see if they'll accept anything from us. Let's try free trade. Nope. All right, we're going to have to give them something. So what we're going to do is we're going to give them society. Now, I typically will go around and give medical, society, any kind of technology that helps the people. I don't give away a lot of, it's very seldom I'll give away warfare technology. But if I think it'll help the people, like this right here, infrastructure rating +1 or +2 and increase their law enforcement, I'll give them that for free. Just to, because I think it helps. And plus it gives, it should help our standing. Let's see if they accepted. Yep. And Togo wants to sell us military goods. We don't need them, but we're going to buy them just to increase our standing with Togo. Are they at war with anybody? Nope. There's that extra range on our artillery. Now, I'm going to finish goods petrol demand, -10. Remember, I was doing everything I could at the beginning to save on petrol. I'm definitely going to take this. Doesn't matter that it increases our electrical use. Turkey making its move on Israel. On Kurdistan. Morocco, rubber, timber. Okay. I don't want recommendations. Thank you very much. Unit design. There's the stork. Excellent. So I need to put some storks in there also in addition to the FD-22s. Egypt making a move on Israel. Oh, well, they're not going to last. Lesotho, yeah, there they go, right there. And I'm not sure that's how that's pronounced, Lesotho. So if I mispronounce it, I apologize. All right, so now we're getting some of the Green Beret 2s to Fort Rucker. Microfluidic advances, very good. Oh, we have more. Real-time communications, that increases our military, very good. Also, one thing I always forget, because in reality, we started in 2018, I think. In reality, the U.S. has a lot of satellites up in orbit. But in the game, you don't. You actually have to order them. And I always forget that. I want to start with 10 of both reconnaissance and communication. Now, I can't order any missile defense yet because we still need research, but I can definitely get 10 of each of these ordered right now. And I'm going to order enough to get 100% coverage. Agriculture, metal ore, military goods. Yeah, they're at war. North Korea. Do I want to sell North Korea? Why do I have such good standing with North Korea? Look at that. Excellent. Max standing with North Korea. Sometimes I don't understand the way the diplomacy works in the game. I would love to have better information with that, but it's just not to be. Agriculture and timber. We already knew that. All right, Thailand declared war on Indonesia. I don't know if that's a good idea. And China. Thailand declared war on Indonesia and China. Buddy, are you sure that's what you want to do? Malaysia, Singapore. Looks like they're... Actually, Malaysia likes me a little bit, and Singapore doesn't totally hate me. Indonesia hates me, of course. I will also typically... I said earlier that I'll go and try to find a country in Africa to work with because I'd like to have them as a base. I also typically will try to work with the Philippines because I just have a soft spot in my heart for the Philippines. Spent good years in the Philippines. Got there initially when Marcos was still... Ferdinand Marcos, not the son, was president back in the 80s. Was there when he was kicked out. Advanced construction. We're going to throw in... Let's look down at society. Going to throw in that biologically based textiles. Looking at medical. Looking at technology. I don't ever use this. I've already mentioned that. I'm going to go ahead and throw in coal production because we do have a lot of coal power plants. How many do we have? Yeah, 461. And 4 small. Get rid of those. And because I'll try to replace those as soon as I can. Well, I can do it now, but again, I'm trying to save money right now. We want to pay our debt down. I'll go ahead and go with this because we'll increase the production of nuclear power. And we're going back to... Actually, let's look up here. Let's look at subs. I don't think so. All right, we'll throw in electromagnetic catapult. That'll give us 21st century. Working towards 21st century naval weapons, which is new carriers I want to get some new carriers. I think ultimately you wind up with the Gates, I think it's called. And I suppose that's named after Bill Gates. That's way down the list. Okay, they want to sell us some military goods. We'll accept. Now, we're taking a big loss when we sell rubber, even though we sell a lot of rubber, because it costs us $4,000 to make rubber when you can buy it on the market for $900. The problem is there's not enough on the market. So that's why people are coming to us to buy, and we're taking a huge loss. But I'm okay with that for now. Hopefully we're generating some goodwill with all these trades. All right, there is our replacement land fab, which means I can... All right, this one's empty, so I'm going to delete it. That's a barracks. I cannot see these small icons anymore. There we go. And is this place empty? Oh, we got 16 days before I can delete him. Rubber, timber, timber, agriculture, agriculture. Let them have it all. South Africa on Zimbabwe, South Africa on Namibia, and Taiwan on North Korea. Interesting. Typically in my game, South Africa goes haywire and just declares war on everybody. Taiwan's still able to range along the coast of China at will, it seems. And there's Japan. Yep. No incursions on their territory. North Korea is still holding strong because they have to send transports to land. I'm sure they cannot go through here. Hang on, that was not... Okay. Nebula fuel cells. Multi-purpose AT munitions. Ground attack values +3. Again, one of our goals is increasing our military lethality, so that's how we do it. Green Berets, 2. Trinidad and Tobago. Okay, we've got petroleum, we've got timber and rubber. That's what they're given. The last 2 are buying. 3 unused army units. Is that true? Well, yes, because... All right, there's nobody in this one right now. So let's just throw in another Bradley and put it on auto build. Looking at the planes, they're empty now. The build facilities are free. So now we want to throw in some Raptors. I'm going to throw in 21 Raptors. That is 3 squadrons. And then I'm going to go down and throw in 7 Storks. Right there. And I want them to be set on auto deploy because they're going to Fort Rucker. There we go. 27. 28. Let's see what didn't make it. Make sure I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All right, so I'm going to drop one of the Raptors. There we go. And then a stork didn't make it in. We'll just have to reset it. Oh, you know what? I just realized. I wanted to delete. Okay, that's a raptor. We'll get rid of him. And we'll delete the aircraft production. This one has still got 10 days. Let's let this go a day and see what it looks like. All right, we'll throw back in that raptor. There we go. Romania, Morocco, timber, military goods to North Korea. You know what? They're offering me 218 and they're wanting 360. I'm not gonna give that to them. Reject. They better come back with a better offer. I'll take their money, but only if I'm making money. They're in war with a lot of people right now, so they might come back with a better offer. What are they at war with? Three different countries? Japan, Taiwan, and Thailand. Yep, 3 different countries. China on Vietnam, South Africa on Congo Democratic Republic, and China on Japan. Well, now, there we go. We knew that before, though, because we saw this Japan encouraging, rampaging along their coast there. Sure, Cutter. There's the Dobbins. Now we can bring us back up to 27, like we started with. There's some more Green Berets. I'm going to see how many that is now. There goes Zimbabwe. How many Green Berets do we have now? We have 23, and we got 7 building. Okay, that's good. 49 is the goal. Doesn't look like North Korea is going to come back with a better offer. They may be hurting for money. Let's see what it looks like as much as we can. Yeah. They're 37 in debt. They only have 170. So 170 million in their treasury and 37,000 million, which is 37 billion in debt. So yeah, they're still friendly. Interesting. The people of North Korea like him better than they like me in America. Artificial intelligence, that means our research is going to go up. Now we're still making money. Normally I would have increased this to max, but we're still going through research pretty good. So I'm going to leave it where it's at. I'm going to throw in fire control upgrades. Is this a Canadian unit or is this Oh, it's a Green Beret. I just saw the little dot moving. I couldn't tell what it was at first. What is this? This is future combat aircraft. Very good. Very good. Very good. I want to see what that leads to. I don't recall. All right, now always, this right here, notice this is everybody in the world. If you click this, it'll just tell you what your country got out of it. See here, we got these Supreme Tiger and these 2 Navy fighters. Or this Pegasus Navy fighter and the Dark Star. But we're coming up on extreme range AA weapons, and we do definitely want that. Remember, click that if you just want to see what your unit has. Click it again to show the entire world what each country gets based on them researching that tech. All right, let's throw in... I'm going to throw in active armor protection. What we'll get out of it is not something I'm going to use. So maybe I won't right now, since we're still early game. I do want this. We'll throw in Land Warrior system because it's going to take us to that next upgrade infantry. And that's going to open up a lot of stuff here, especially this future mechanized infantry. And once we get the Dunham, I'll probably start building the Dunham, but that's not my end goal. See how that one tech opens up a lot of military stuff? So we're going to throw that one in there. Land Warrior system. Military Body Armor 2. There we go. That helps the Green Berets. Did I not click on that? Apparently not. Let's throw it in there now. And throw in... oh, I don't think we need... I'm going to throw in... Military Body Armor 3. There you go. Helping the Green Berets even more. Good movie. The Green Berets. Michael Marion Morrison. I forget his Marion Morrison. John Wayne's real name was Marion. John Wayne's a stage name, but he's pretty good in that movie, The Green Berets. And I can live with all that. It's not too bad. Just didn't want to be giving North Korea money. Satellite available for launch. Yes, agree. Launch it. U.S. has detected a satellite launch is what that's going to say. You know, in earlier versions of the game, previous to Supreme Ruler, there was a newspaper in the game. And you could see things that happen in other countries and read them. Unfortunately, in this version, you can see things happen. You can see a letter icon over the Capitol. But there was actually something you could click on and read the newspaper. It would tell you how many casualties were going on in the war, what happened during the war. I miss that. I really do. And it's a shame it's not in 2030. It's a lot of offers that came in there in a hurry. All right, UK's finally selling me petroleum. They usually do that from almost the very beginning of the game. And just about every game I play, I don't mean in Supreme Ruler, I mean every game I play, regardless of the game, I always try to maintain good relations with the UK. I mean, let's face it, we're what was it that, what were the famous for? 2 countries separated by a common language? You know, I have talked to kids. You know, I spend a lot of time on the internet. And I've spoken to kids, and I say kids, I mean, you know, up to maybe 22, 25 years old. And believe it or not, they don't even know we used to be a colony of England. How can you, I don't understand how you can grow up in America and not know that we used to be a colony of theirs. It just makes no sense to me. They don't teach anything in schools anymore, I guess. I can live with all these trades. Oh, some plane just ran out of fuel and crashed. Did you hear that? What it sounded like to me. I don't know where it was at. Probably one of those countries that has 1,000 planes on their airport. They can't all cycle in to land long enough to get fuel. And I believe one of the changes made from Supreme Ruler 2020 to this game is when you run it fast. I believe, don't quote me on this, I think it's anything above normal. If you run it fast, very fast, or fastest, there's some checks in the game that are not done in order to increase the speed of the game. I don't think they check for stealthiness. In fact, I almost know that to be true because I have owned the Panama Canal before and had enemy ships who I was at war with transit the Panama Canal, and none of my forces did not attack them because they couldn't see them. They wasn't doing their checks for visibility and line of sight and all that stuff because I was running on fast game speed. I don't like that. It wasn't like that in 2020. 2020, everything still worked regardless of the speed. The game just ran a little slower, and for me, that's fine. I'd rather the game run a little slower and still everything work properly. Nano upgraded. All right, that gives us more infrastructure rating. Now, I haven't fiddled with our rating at all so far. You can see right now our daily income estimated is 18.9, and our daily expenses is 19.1. So the only reason we're staying solvent and gaining a little bit of money is our daily trades. So what I'm going to do, let's look at a couple other things here. Let's look at our economy. See, our inflation is negative 1.1 and unemployment is 8.5. Now, what that tells me is with all the buildings I've scrapped and all the military units I've scrapped, we've got a lot of people without a job. So I'm going to go and build something. And I'm going to employ these people. Unfortunately, what I'm going to build is oil wells. And I'm going to build them right here. I'm going to put I don't know if I want to put it right there. I think I'll put it right there. I'm going to build a full hex of supply depots. I'm going to build transportation, rail line. No reason to go on that road. I'm just going to connect all these. I'm going to go all the way down to here. And I'm going to build a road up this. Oops, that's not what I wanted. I wanted a rail up to there. Now I'm going to go gather all of my, you remember earlier in the game, I said I'm going to put all of my engineers here. Well, now I'm going to call them out. The little bit that I have. And take them down here. Plant them there. Now I'm going to build my people need some jobs, so we're going to build some oil fields. And we're going to start as close to this as possible because that'll give us the maximum output and a maximum amount of supply. And I'm also going to turn that volume down. User interface sound. So let's turn that down. I don't know if that made a difference or not. I think I planted one there, my mistake, but that's all right. Eventually, I'll have to fill that out anyway. And notice, I know this is old news by now, but you see this very dark color? That doesn't mean that it will produce more, it means you can put more wells there. So here, this is light colored, so I can only put 2 wells. And each well, I'm just going to use generic numbers to illustrate my point. Each well might produce 100 barrels a day. So now you're getting 200 barrels. This, you can put much more, but each well is still only going to produce 100 barrels a day. You can just put more wells there. So this, using the same numbers, this would be 400 a day. It's not that you're getting more because it's a darker color, it's that you can put more resource collectors there. We're going to double the amount of wells that we have. We're going to build up 88 more. Or 89, depending on, however it works out. There we go, 88. We'll leave that there for now. And that's going to be a big hit on the economy. See, our daily expenses are now 28, and our daily income's only 19, so we're 10 in the hole. But every day that rolls by, that decreases because a little bit more gets completed. It's not a all at once kind of thing. Right now, we're negative 28.9. What to the next day, and you'll see that'll be less. The day after that, that'll be less. So it doesn't wait the entire time. As you complete a build, the number you spend is less because you've already, you go in, you spend all the money on the foundation. Okay, well, that's done on day one. You don't need to spend money on any more foundation materials. And then, the structure, the walls, so forth and so on. That's how that works. Laser-guided munitions. Let's add in next-gen radar, unmanned aerial observation, upgraded infantry protection. And I think that should be 19. Yep, there we go. Let's look at our messages. See, everybody's selling us petroleum now. Vietnam declared war on... Okay, I think we've seen this already. Yeah, that was back in February. So about a month ago. Thailand, Indonesia declared war on China. That's interesting. Indonesia declared war on China. I can't say thermobaric weapons. That's good. Let's take a gander at that. That's going to be the rivet. That right there. Look at the stats on that. Soft target 386, hard target 743, range 150. It has 110 ground defense and 115 air defense, and it's only a size 4. Takes 6 days to build. That right there is an excellent weapon, ladies and gents. We're going to switch to that as soon as it is researched. Okay, we've gone a couple days. Let's see if we're still at 28.9, just to illustrate my point. Notice now we're only in a hole by 22, and we still got a lot of building to do. But the base units here, and every time something completes, it costs less the next day. High-speed rail infrastructure, excellent. I think I'm gonna Metal Storm. I'm not gonna use anything from Metal Storm. None of the units that it creates, but I will eventually throw it in there. The problem here is the stuff you're researching gets more and more expensive. I think I'm going to throw in the laser gyro stabilizers. Petroleum, timber, rubber. Selling us petroleum. Yeah, UK. See, we're getting better stats with the UK now. They like us again. Belgium likes us a little better also. All right, I can accept all these. Also, again, this game is really old now. I think it came out in 2014. Is that right? I don't remember anymore. I could check. I just don't want to alt-tab. But let me wait until I get a message. Okay, we was at 22 a moment ago. Now 21. See how it's going down every time something is completed a build. Military facility complete. Unit construction. Let's see if that's true. Nope, they're going to come back. Everything's good. We do have 7 or 6 slots, though. So we're going to throw in 6 raptors. Wait a minute. Let me see what's here. I think that was the storks that completed. Yeah. That would only be 7 storks. So I want another. I want some more storks. I want 14 storks is what I want. And actually, I want them to deploy because they're going to Fort Rucker. Which means there are some storks on the map right now, as well as green berets. Where are they? Right there. There should be 6 of them. We want you to fly down to Fort Rucker. Okay, what I was talking about earlier, I was waiting for a message to come through, but I decided I was going to use the UK anyway. Let's say you're bored of clicking and checking all these messages. And you're like, stop sending me messages. Well, I know that I want to accept any trade the UK gives me, right? So I go to the UK, click on State Department, go down here to Influence Relations, and you got these options right here. Auto accept future balanced or better commodity and money offers. Right now it's turned off. Let's turn it on. That means any trade that comes in will automatically be accepted. I don't have to actually click on it. If it is advantageous to us, balanced or better, and any money offer, of course. Now, you can also go here and you can break all treaties with this nation if you want to do that. You can also ignore every economic offer from a region, and you can also ignore every military unit offer from a region. So if I click that and leave it on like I've just done now, and anytime the UK sends me a trade and it's for even, I break even, or it's in my favor, I'm not even going to have to click on it. It's just going to automatically accept. And you can go through that and do that with all your allies, for example. And that's then, let's say like me as the U.S., what do I got, about 24 allies? If I did it with every one of them, you know how much clicking that would save me over the game time? So it's very advantageous that if you are getting bored with clicking on stuff, that you do that. All right, we're going to swap over now in the missile build queue. We're just going to straight swap. I'm not even going to wait 3 days. But what I am going to do is let the day run once so that the game can recognize that I've emptied this queue. Let it go 1 day. And then I'll toss in all these rivets on auto build. Now the next version is the Rivet B, and that's even better. So we're definitely going to research that. In fact, I don't know if I put that in there already. No, I didn't. It'd be a different color because it's a missile. Notice these are... Let's look at this. There's the rivet right there. Did I already do that? Oh yeah, that is the B. Wow. Wake up, Joe. All right, so that is the excellent version. I want to I want to get rid of this and hide it, so I don't make that mistake again. I won't, because I'm going to get some sleep here eventually. China declared war on Laos. That's fine. Okay, they offered me 79. They've requested. All right, here. Qatar's also, see, they're offering me 79. They're only requesting 73. So we're going to go there. We're going to go to the State Department, and we're going to do the same thing with them. If they send me something that's in my favor, just automatically accept it. Then I don't have to do as much clicking. I tell you what, that tone really hasn't lowered any, has it? All right, now that this is completely built, I'm going to move both of these guys over here so that we touch. It's not, remember, it's any hex that they touch. It's not necessarily the hex they're in. Let me turn on this map grid. So he's touching this, 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 and this. So he's increasing the build speed of all 4 hexes. And I move this guy over here. He's further increasing the build speed of this hex, and also this one, and this one. And I will eventually build 49 of these also, and that gives me 7 stacks of 7. And you can build 1 hex in about a week, regardless. You know, let's say it takes normally 6 months. I think every stack decreases by 1 day. So I think you can, with 49, you will decrease it by 1 week every day. It really can help on the large things. See here, dip. Okay, let's go with petroleum, agriculture, and agriculture. Again, Italy is offering 339 million and only requested 202. So we're going to go to Italy and do the same thing. Let them auto accept. Boom. And we will accept this one. And if you look at these closer than I've been looking at them up to this point, you can eliminate a lot of the clicking you have to do if it bothers you to click that much. I've just been looking at them and I'm fine with that, but sometimes you don't want to click. Look at there, Brazil. Now, I read something recently in the real world. Something is going on with Guyana, and I don't remember what it is. It's Venezuela, I think. Venezuela and Guyana had a little spat recently, maybe. I cannot really remember. I think we all know how my memory is. But it's interesting that Brazil declared on them. Let's see if there's any movement. Because there is not a whole lot of supply out in this area. They're actually pushing down. There's one Brazilian, well, I don't know how many, but there is at least one Brazilian unit right there. Of course, they're not going to last long because they've only got 3. You know, basically you capture the capital and it's over with because there's only 3 total locations you have to capture. Which reminds me why I'm thinking about it. I've posted this before and mentioned this before when talking about Supreme Ruler, really all the Supreme Rulers. If I was to go to war with Mexico, a lot of people make the mistake of trying to capture everything. You know, let's say you'll move your forces right here, put them in a line, and then march them, all the way trying to capture this empty territory. There's no reason. It doesn't add anything to you. All you need to do is go down the roads and capture the towns and the capital. There's no advantage to spending time trying to capture all this area out here in the boondocks. It does nothing for you. You want these areas because they generate supply. Every time you capture one of these, it's going to give your troops supply. You're out here in the middle of nowhere, you're not going to get adequate supply. So remember, just drive down the roads. You don't have to worry about anything else. You can drive down the roads, capture everything, move on, but just keep going down the roads or the railroad track, as the case may be. You don't need to be out here in the boondocks. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter if you push all the way down here to the capital and you haven't captured this area, this area, this area. It doesn't matter as long as you capture the supply centers, which is any hex that has a structure in it generates supply. I know there was a lot of people that used to complain about fighting over here, for example, in Egypt or in China. And, you know, there's no reason whatsoever for you to have units out here in the middle of nowhere. Just drive down the roads. So go from supply source to supply source to supply source. Let me turn off those hexes. All right, we got some builds here, so let's run over here so that he can touch maximum people. Let's see if we're still at 22 in the hull. 22.7. Multi-fueled power plants. All right. Right now we're generating 5,743,005. Let's go one day. 5,743,005. Boom. We went up to 6,750. That's 5%. That's an increase to every power plant you have, all the way from petroleum up to nuclear. That right there is a good tech. All right, New Zealand. Yep, they're giving us more money, so we're also going to just auto. Speaking of YouTube channels earlier, I was talking about I watched several from Pakistan. There's one good one from New Zealand. It's called Your New Zealand Family. And essentially, they like America. So they've already had a trip or two to America, and they document it, and they're always looking at things about America and talking about how great America is. So for me, I enjoy seeing them talk about how great our country is. It's a family of 4. Also, the daughter, I think she's probably about 14 now, something like that, 13, 14. Her name is Atlanta, and I'm from Georgia. But she has also a side channel that she's a cook, I almost said a chef, but she's like a home cook. So she cooks various things, and they were going through and making each state. There's 50 states in the United States of America, and they were making the dish, the state dish for each state. I think they're only up to about 20 or so by now. She's a pretty good cook. She films, she does it all herself. Alert level reduced. 22 army units. I don't think that's true. Let's look and see. Nope. All right, we're gonna move this guy down here. Move this guy here in the middle of this big group here, so he touches everybody. Petroleum, rubber, timber, petroleum, timber, timber. Okay, they like me a lot, Shinzo A, but since they do, they're expecting to get a better deal. So I'm gonna accept it, but he's not offering me more than it's worth. Satellite, launch it. Unprovoked attack leads to war. Okay, China declared war on Kazakhstan. And Russia declared war on Sweden. Brazil's declared war on Guyana. All right, we already knew that. Kazakhstan, man, that's hard to fight over in Kazakhstan. I was talking about lack of supply. There are some places in Kazakhstan that has absolute zero supply. Kazakhstan is the green here. There you go. And you see they like me a lot, but they're not an ally. And it was China and Chinese Hong Kong. Yeah, Hong Kong used to belong to the British until I think 1990, because they had fought a war with China and forced on them that they would get Hong Kong for 100 years, and that was probably in 1890. So for 100 years, that's why there's so many people in Hong Kong that speak British English, even though now they're part of. So I think it was 1990, Hong Kong went back technically to the rule of China. Just a little history there for you. Also, speaking of China, you may not know this, Jackie Chan has joined the Communist Party. All right, let's see here. Green Berets. How many do I have now? I have, scroll all the way to the top. Okay, 37, 38, 39, 41, 42, 43. All right, we're getting to the point where I need to do this manually now. All right. Very good. Very good. We're going to go into the middle here. I want you to go there. Prismatic uranium blocks. All right, we're working towards increasing our output of the power plants for nuclear power. And the point of all this is increasing it enough so that I can get rid. Eventually, I'm going to get rid of all the coal. I've already got rid of all the oil. Now I'm going to get rid of all the coal. Let's look at something we can throw in there. We need to throw quite a few in there. 3 more. We're getting to the point where it's getting expensive. Now this, on paper, this non-reproductive cloning, see, it increases your healthcare rating by 2. We're going to throw that in there. And quantum computing, notice it tells you here this is a era technology, meaning it unlocks, look at all the stuff it unlocks. We're going to throw that in there. That should fill a slot. And let's go, this is the one I was talking about, the VHTR nuclear reactors. That prismatic uranium blocks unlocks this, and then this unlocks refit the nuclear. And you can see production up 10% and maintenance costs down 20%. So that's a net gain all around. Let's throw that in there. That should be 19. Who declared war? South Africa and Mozambique. I thought they did that once before already. Maybe they made peace and they're redeclaring now. They're not wasting any time, that's for sure. So far, all's quiet over here. Sweden is going to... I don't know how much longer they're going to last, but I fear that Norway might be next. Norway is an ally. Let's move you over. I think that's it. I think that's everybody built up. Let's check and see. Yeah, that's 176. Now, you notice we produce more than we need now. So that's going to help greatly for our income. Which also means I can put these guys back in reserve. Satellite launch confirmed. Excellent. Croatia. See, this is automatically accepted. I didn't have to do it. Yeah, we're just going to click on all this up until the next one because I didn't see what it was. Right here. Petroleum, timber, petroleum, petroleum, petroleum. And that's Malaysia. And petroleum. Okay, I no longer need to buy petroleum. I'm going to accept these and then look at it from here on out because we just now got the capability, we just now got the production capacity to exceed our demand. Let's let it run a day to make sure that's proper. See, we were up to 599 and now we're down to 400, so we lost about almost 200. Multi-purpose AT. What I want to look at, though, is what our last day's trades were. So they were spending, as expected, metal ore is the most expensive thing right now. So what we want to do is increase our income. What I'm going to do is we have an excess of consumer goods. Consumer goods only cost us $29,000 to make, and the market price is $30,000. So what I'm going to do is go into here and increase the price of consumer goods to 30%. All right, I'm going to increase No, I don't think I'll do that. And let's see if that lasts. Let's see if the AI minister changes it. Yeah, he's immediately moving it down. So I'm going to lock him out. I'm going to move this to 30. Also, something that was not very apparent to most people. Let me pause that. If you hover your mouse over any slider in the game and you scroll, notice I'm going about 4 every time, right? But if I press shift, make that control. I'll get this right here in just a minute. It's hard to hit those little, the UI is just so small for me at the moment. If you hover, you move a little bit, but if you hold shift, you move an awful lot. See, I went from 95 to 131? That's by holding shift. Now, if you hold control, you move a very tiny amount. Alt, you move a very tiny amount. Notice I'm moving just a little bit every time. So holding shift, you move a huge amount. You hold alt, you move a little amount. And then, of course, there's just not holding anything, and you use the normal amount. What I'm trying to say is, if you want to move it a great bit and you don't feel like sliding it like this, press shift. If you want to move it a tiny bit and you can't quite click the exact spot, just hold down control and scroll it. That's what I'm getting at. All right, now I want this to go back to 30 before my people revolt. There we go. And then that is locked. What I'm trying to do is increase the amount of money I'm making from selling this. And you can see that right now, consumer goods is 380 million. Now it's 394. And we're going to see if we can increase that. Now we're going to go and do the same thing with industry goods. We're going to work off our debt. We're in a positive. We're moving up, but we still want to go up some more. All right, we're going to go to here. We're going to lock that and move. Oh, we don't sell these locally. I forgot about that. We might have to do it with petroleum. Let's look and see who's selling petroleum in the world. Right now, we're the number 5 exporter of petroleum in the world. So let's see if we can increase that we're going to lock it. We're going to move our internal price up to 30%. Again, we're trying to make money. And you can do this anytime. I could have done this a long time ago, but I'm not really concentrating that much on the knickknacks, the very tiny details like that. As long as we're making money, I was happy. Let's see what. Okay, now look at that. Petroleum, one up there. Consumer goods, number 2. Consumer goods was down here earlier. Now it's up to number 2. And we are now almost breaking even. Only a difference of about 200 mil, give or take. All right, everybody go into reserve. And again, remember what I said? Anything above 25 and you will automatically win the elections. So as long as I keep it above 25, the elections will be won by me. I don't have to keep it up in 40 or 50 or anything like that. And the reason being, typically when you have an election, you think, well, you want the majority of the vote, right? You want more than 50%. But that's only if there's 2 different people running. In this game, there's 4 different people running for every election. So anything above 25%, you automatically have the majority. That's how that works. Let's launch that satellite. Let's look at our production queue. We could throw more planes in. What have we got in there now? We've got some more storks. How many storks is that going to give us? I really need to go through and hide all this stuff. All right, that'll give us 12. All right, we want 14 total, so let's throw in 2 more. That will complete them. Now I can throw in some interceptors. We'll fill it with interceptors. There we go. They just captured that big port. That's a huge port right there with an air base. I don't know how much longer Finland is going to hold out. Some more diplomatic trades. Okay, I have no idea how long I've been recording. I originally set out with a 30-minute timer, and that timer was gone a long time ago, so I'm going to end it right here. Now, I may just cut parts out of this that I don't think need to be here. I don't know how long this is going to be, but I just thought I had some time to kill, and I had just uploaded a video of a new game. I said, let me see how this is going to work. So I just wanted to see what was going on. It's been a while since I played Supreme Ruler Ultimate, because I'm also working on trying to get a mod build for Skyrim Special Edition. It's been a while since I played that, and I thought I'd give it a try. So I've been doing that for about a week now. Tell you what, when I was younger, it was a little less frustrating when I was doing stuff like that. But anyway, catch you on the next one. Ciao.